August 25th, 2017, I started the program. And 10 months later, I had lost 109 pounds and could get down on the floor and get back up with my grandkids. So that was amazing. I felt amazing. I got off medications. And about 40 pounds into my journey, my husband kept saying, "You should do this." I'm like, "Do what? I'm doing this program." He goes, "No, you should do this." Like, I don't understand. And he goes, "You should open a clinic." And I'm like, not even.
Hi, I'm Brenda Alfano, and welcome to Mortgage Mysteries, where we highlight and solve the mysteries of small local business owners of South Snohomish County and their businesses. So today my guest is Linda Speer, who owns Ideal Lifestyle, and we're going to get to know more about what that company is all about here in just a moment. Welcome, Linda. So glad to have you here today.
Thank you. It's my pleasure and honor to be here.
Oh, thanks. Linda and I have known each other. I don't even know how many years we've actually known each other. We met many years ago in a networking group and have remained in contact on and off ever since. So thank you again for joining us today.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
So before we hear about Linda and her business and we get to discover about her business and a mysterious side, I'm going to pose my why question for this week, because we all know I'm so curious all the time. I'm always asking why. So my why question today is, why have people started to re-embrace vinyl records again? So I hear it's because the sound is better. However, I talked to a musician recently. He said, well, it depends on how good your ears are. And then, of course, then you have to buy, if you really want the good sound, you need to buy amplifiers and all the stuff we used to have in the old days when we had vinyl. What's your thoughts on it, Linda? Any?
I haven't heard any vinyl lately. I have lots of it on a shelf. I would totally be down for listening to it again, and I can see where that thought of needing all the amplifier and all the other equipment that made it sound so much better back in the day.
Right. Because when you just put it on a record player, it wasn't all that great in my day. I mean, maybe it's changed a bit, but it's just interesting that every time I see, I watch a talk show that comes out of Britain, and every time they have a musical guest, everything's now a record, that they're showing, not a CD, a record with the cover and the art, just like it used to be. So right. It's kind of, but for some people, that's not used to be. That's just what it is now. So it's very interesting to me.
Definitely. I like to know that too, because I loved the artwork, the words, and just knowing what songs were coming up. And yeah, the record players weren't fabulous because our needles were usually had dust on them or records were scratched. So
skip. Yeah, we're going way back. We're going way back here.
Right.
So we have a different feeling about it maybe than some people do, but that's interesting. So we're going to start chatting about you now, Linda, and find out, about your business. So I'm going to let you just tell us a little bit about what it is you do, why you do it, what your business, what brought you into the business, things like that.
Okay. Well, great. Thank you so much. So my business is Ideal Lifestyle, Weight Loss and Wellness Services. How I got into this was about 6 years ago. I had a why moment where I was very, very heavy, and I had grandkids, and I ended up being the armchair nana. It's like, yeah, you guys go play, that's fun. And I would see them out playing outside, and it was just sad because I didn't have the energy or the movement to go play with them like I wanted to in my head. So it was like, all right, I'm done with this. And my daughter was working at a clinic where they do the same program that we offer. My son was actually doing the program, and I saw him having great success. I thought he was losing weight too fast and was concerned for his health because I knew nothing about the program. And my daughter had invited me to come try out red light therapy in the clinic where she worked. And so it's like, all right, that sounds great. So I did, and I loved it. And then she kept after me to just come for a free consultation about the program, the weight loss program. And so I finally relented. It's like, all right, it's free. So why not? So while I was talking with who ended up being my coach, she said two things that totally blew my mind. One was, you don't have to exercise. I'm like, great, because it's not my thing. And I always thought the only way you can lose weight is to exercise. And the other thing she brought into the whole conversation was that the program that is offered helps you burn your stored body fat. And I'm like, what? That was a game changer. I had never heard that. And I never actually knew what weight or how weight was lost, but that was totally intriguing. So, August 25th, 2017, I started the program. And 10 months later, I had lost 109 pounds and could get down on the floor and get back up with my grandkids. So that was amazing. I felt amazing. I got off medications. And about 40 pounds into my journey, my husband kept saying, "You should do this." I'm like, "Do what? I'm doing this program." He goes, "No, you should do this." Like, I don't understand. And he goes, "You should open a clinic." And I'm like, mm-mm, not even. So I'm an introvert. Starting a business, I had not even an inkling of a clue where to start. And so, as it turned out, the owner of the company I now represent uh, held my hand and walked me through the whole process. And I opened my clinic December 17th, 2018. So we just had our 5-year anniversary, which is exciting. Um, and thank you. Um, so it was it's been quite a journey, and I just feel totally blessed. We've served hundreds of clients, maybe even thousands, with red light therapy, our Shift Set Go program, which is a partial meal replacement. Um, and so, yeah, we've served clients from 9 to 75, uh, men, women, children, and our ideal client is women over 50 and over who have 50 or more pounds to lose. Of course, we'll take anyone who wants to help improve their health. Our name is Ideal Lifestyle because anytime you lose weight, it needs to be a lifestyle change to carry it forward and maintain that weight loss.
So cool. So cool. So, um, what do you feel is the most well, I have a couple questions. Number one, what does red light therapy do for you?
It's amazing technology that NASA discovered in the 1980s to help oxygenate the blood of astronauts in space because of the zero gravity. They don't have any resistance. So they would find that they lost a lot of muscle. Red light therapy actually is photobiomodulation, big word. It's red and near infrared light, two elements of the sun. So anytime we see it here in Washington, we're getting it. It's non damaging. It goes in and it actually energizes every cell in your body that's exposed. In our clinic, our specific red light therapy is medical grade, so it goes about 10 centimeters into the body to help with healing, fat loss, inflammation, hair regrowth, scar reduction, um, just so many health benefits. It can help get better sleep, and it's nice and warm. It's relaxing. People love it, even if there weren't all the health benefits. So it's a great complement to our Shift Set Go weight loss program, which also helps you lose fat. And then if you go in for red light therapy, you lose more fat.
Wow. 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 I didn't know that about the red light therapy.
Yeah.
What caught my attention was the sleep part.
Right?
So I know that sleep is so important to just be healthy and
It
to help fight disease and things like that. I definitely don't get enough sleep. What do you feel is this might sound like a very obvious question, but for you, really, what is the most rewarding part of what you do with your clients?
I think the most rewarding is clients who come in and um, don't necessarily think they're going to see the changes they do, and then they do see them. Um, One example was a lady who had come in, and it was a huge struggle watching her take her shoes and socks off to be weighed each week, and then put them back on. And I actually helped her, put them back on, and was happy to do that. And then one week, or as the weeks progressed, I just noticed that she was more comfortable. It was easier for her. And then one week, I just didn't offer to help, and she put her shoes and socks back on by herself. And I just praised her, because it's like, wow, something that most people take for granted was a huge win for her with her weight loss. And another thing with her weight loss that was a hidden blessing is she discovered she had a type of cancer that she was going to have surgery for. And because she had lost at that point 70 pounds, it was easier on her to have that surgery. And it wasn't nearly as dangerous had she been 70 pounds heavier. And she's alive and well today.
Oh, that's so, oh my gosh, my heart. I
Yeah.
mean, if you've never had to battle weight, things don't seem as, some of this might not feel as important to you, but those of us who, I mean, I joke that came out of the womb counting calories. So it's just, I get it. I totally
Hmm.
get it. What a wonderful thing
Yeah.
to help people like that. Oh my gosh, that's
Yeah.
just great. So
So
what, oh, sorry, go ahead, please.
Oh, I was just going to say, all the coaches we have here have done the program, so they know exactly how it feels, how it works, and are able to guide our clients appropriately, just knowing how, what challenges they may come across, and how to combat that.
I think that's really important. I'm glad you brought that up because I worked for a weight loss center many, many, many years ago, just as a whatever clinician type of thing, not trained in any way. And, none of us were on the program. How can we relate when we haven't done it? It's just totally different. So that is a very good thing to know. Very good thing to know. So what are your goals for the business for the future? Do you plan to expand? What's your thoughts on that?
I've actually thought about expanding and met with my mentor about that. And her advice was, don't expand, just um, implement what you can to grow and make better what you already have. So that's been happening for the last 3 years, just to grow it better, and concentrate on what we do well and just make that better.
That makes a lot of sense. I think sometimes people feel because they're doing well, they go ahead and grow, and then it gets out of control. And instead of hunkering down and doing better what you already do, and maybe even expand your in that business, So that's great to hear. Um, so anything you'd like to add about your program that can help people let them
Um,
know more about it?
Yeah, I think anyone who has health issues, we see a lot of diabetics, type 2, and a few type 1 diabetics, and people with high blood pressure, lower or get off their medications. Another trend that's going around right now is Ozempic for weight loss, which is a diabetic medication. Um, I don't know how that's presented from a doctor to a patient, but what we have learned about it, as far as what we know about our program, is that there is no um, monitor of whether or not the patient slash client is losing lean mass. And lean mass is everything but fat. So it's including your muscles mainly, which burn fat. There's also no maintenance program at the end of taking a medication that you're not necessarily in need of. Um, so that's, I think, where, we want people to be aware that our program is a 3-stage program. The first stage is where you're losing weight. The second stage is we're shifting you off of our foods onto more whole foods. And the last stage is maintenance. So many weight loss programs do not have a good maintenance program. we stay with our clients very closely for a year and beyond, just to make sure that they're maintaining their weight, they're not losing lean mass, they're not gaining fat back, and then having the option to, tighten up their program, so to speak, if they gain a few pounds, and just bring it back down to um, the individualized um, portions that we calculate for each client rather than a one size fits all.
I love that. Yes. I mean, it's nice that lots of people can lose weight quickly, but the whole key to losing weight, I think we both know, is let's keep the weight off. Let's not go through this again and again. It's one thing to gain a couple pounds and rein it in, but to go from losing 20 pounds and gaining another 20 back, or gaining 40, then losing 20, then losing 30, it's damaging to the body, isn't it?
It's very damaging. It breaks your metabolism basically, because your body doesn't know now what to do. And when typically when you lose weight in just a low calorie diet, you're losing fat and muscle. But when you gain it back, you're gaining back all fat. You're not gaining back muscle, unless, of course, you're on some strength training exercise program. So the yo-yo dieting is obviously never good. But that's how low calorie programs work: is you lose fat and muscle, and then if you gain it back, it's going to come back as fat.
I can attest for that.
Thank you.
Been there, done that, still wearing it. Well, thank you. I appreciate you telling us all about that. It's so fascinating. So, when you're not helping people with, it's such a big issue, and such a personal thing to people, and how much better they feel when they lose weight and are successful. When you're not doing that, what are you doing with your free time?
When I have free time, I love to spend time with family. I have a son, daughter-in-law, and granddaughter that live fairly close to me. And I have a daughter, son-in-law, and four grandchildren that live in Pennsylvania. So I do like to travel as well, thankfully. And we're actually leaving Christmas Day to go spend a week with the kids and grandkids in Pennsylvania. Yeah, and then my husband and I recently bought a fifth wheel trailer, so we go glamping, which is nice. We've done everything from sleeping under the stars to tent camping to tent trailer camp, truck camper, and now glamping. So definitely my preference. Um, and then my sister and I do annual trips to Mexico for 2 weeks, and that'll be coming up the end of April. So lots of things to look forward to.
So, when you guys travel in the fifth wheel, um, where do you like to go?
Um, so far, we've gone to a few parks in Washington. We would like to expand that. Just time frame didn't allow this last summer. We just got the trailer earlier this year. So we went on a couple trips with our son, daughter-in-law, and granddaughter, and went on some great hikes while we were there. And I'm trying to think. We went to Yakima was one trip. We went to up near Wenatchee, and just fairly close, just to make sure everything was working okay on the trailer.
Well, there's so much to see locally. I mean, there's just so much to see. It's great to travel far, but it's also, if if you really put your mind to it, there is just so much to see, just literally in the Puget Sound region, let alone the whole state of Washington. So
I agree.
you
Yep.
got a lot to look forward to. That's great. Do you think that what you do in your spare time in any way helps you in your business?
That's a great question. I haven't thought about that. I think personally, it maybe helps me see things differently, maybe getting a break away and coming back to regroup, and maybe just having a better mindset. So I think just that mental rest helps me do better in my business.
We can all use that. Absolutely. Absolutely. So to I wanted to, because you are, you know, not in the business, my business, mortgage, real estate. I'd kind of like to get your feeling, if you have any, or your what you hear people talking about in my business about what do they think the next year's bringing in interest rates or mortgages, or are they going to be able to buy a home? Do they think the sky is falling? What's the pulse that you're feeling from people you know?
Right. That's a great question. I'm glad you asked. What I hear a lot of is there is no inventory or very little. So, where do they look? And is that going to affect interest rates? And, are we ever going to be able to buy a home?
So, and those are great questions. I mentioned in another call or another podcast a couple of times ago that I don't think a lot of people realize that they don't need 20% down to buy a home. And
Wow.
so, and that's, I mean, they're so like, how can I ever save that kind of money? Well, they don't need to. They can go 3% down, 5% down, and still buy a home. Now, granted, at these interest rates, yes, that payment is a little bit more, but it's definitely worth exploring. If people are afraid to explore, like, let's just check it out. It doesn't cost you anything to find out. There's a lot of people that in the last year, I'm not hearing it as much right now, but oh my God, when is the bubble going to burst? It's like, well, we don't have a bubble because we don't have any inventory. It's kind of hard to have a bubble when you don't have an inventory. But do people have any of the people you're talking to think about the interest rate? Are they talking about the interest rate at all? Are they scared? Think it's going to come down? Any of that?
They're definitely fearful. It's kind of like if we don't get it now, the interest rates are going up and we're never going to be able to afford it. I'm glad you mentioned that you don't have to come in at 20% with a down payment. So having a lower option is definitely huge, I'm sure. So, but yeah, that's typically what I hear is where's the interest rate going to be when I can finally afford something or find something, because many times they're looking and by the time they even place an offer, it's already been sold.
Right. We are still having, yes, we do have lower inventory. Um, Luckily, interest rates are starting to see a little bit of improvement, and hopefully, we're going to see that into next year. No one has a crystal ball, so we don't know. My advice to anybody you're talking to who thinks that they are never going to be able to buy, but they haven't checked out whether they even can, is to talk to somebody to get, at least get pre-approved and find out. Because sometimes people are pleasantly surprised, even at these interest rates. So, I mean, I don't know about you, but I remember, and I'm sure you do too, a time when interest rates were like 13, 18%,
Yep. Yep.
and people had to have 20% down.
Right.
Right. So, but it is more difficult, but it's not impossible. So I urge people that that if they don't know, they'll never know if they don't talk to somebody.
Well,
And go ahead.
oh no, I was just going to say, I'm so glad you mentioned it doesn't cost anything to find out, because I think people are afraid that, oh my gosh, if I go talk to somebody, I'm committed and have to pay them.
No, absolutely not. And I always tell people, how can you be looking at real estate if you haven't any clue what you can afford?
Very true.
And why set yourself up for that horrible disappointment when you fall in love with something? Because people fall
Yes.
in love, right?
They
It's
do.
emotional. and then find out I can't afford that, or be pleasantly surprised, oh my gosh, I can afford that. So anyway, I just wanted to bring that up a little bit because I'm just kind of curious what the general public is thinking. Obviously, I talk a lot to people in my industry, real estate agents and other lenders, and we have a different opinion sometimes than others. I don't think we'll ever see 3% rates again. That's unrealistic, but we're already edging down. So I think next year is going to be a good year. Personally, I have very positive feelings about it, especially mid-year to the end of the year.
That's awesome.
Yeah, let's hope. I have no crystal ball, but anyway, well,
Right.
Linda, thank you so much for being here today. I really appreciated it. It was so great to see you and learn more about your business.
Thank you. It's been my pleasure.
Thank you. And for those of you who are watching, please be sure to check out curiousbrenda.com and my YouTube channel, like and subscribe, and we will see you next time. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.